welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I'd do a video. I might have to do it in two parts and then put it together afterwards. But I wanted to go through my completed pages and my colouring books. But for today I'm just going to go through the sort of PDF pages, so freebies that I've got from artists via Facebook or websites, Etsy pages, and with that there'll also be pages I've printed out from PDF colouring books. I don't always print out the entire book, but sometimes I just print out pages I'd want to colour. So I don't have all my PDF books here to show you, but I'll just show you the ones I've coloured. And there's also Patreon pages from various artists as well. So I'll try not to keep this video too long. So in this folder, both these two folders have a mix, but they've all got a bit of a mix in. I just have to go through some uncoloured ones first. These are Fabiana Attanasio, the Harry Potter ones. I haven't got around to them yet. There's this one by Jana Prosperina. This was a mermaid page she did for Last Mermaid. It was on her Etsy page. She had a few others available, but I did only coloured this one. I tried to give her, base her off of Ariel, so it's red hair and things. Yeah, I really like how she came out. I think I used polychromos as Albrecht Dürer watercolour pencils for the background, and I think I used some pastel gel pens on the dots on the starfish. Yeah, there's that one. I'm not going to take them out because it'll be too much of a hassle to get them back in. So the next one is, this was a Matt Davison page he did around October last year. It wasn't one of the official Spooktober pages, I don't think, but it was one of the sort of spookier pages he released around that time. I used marker, alcohol marker for the background. And then there's a little bit white gel pen everywhere, and then she used polychromos, and I think so is the bird as well. I tried to colour her like Madame Leota from that Haunted Mansion film by Disney. Yeah, I really like how she came out. I don't do a lot of kind of other coloured skin, so I really like how she came out. So that's that one. As you can see, I have a lot of PDFs that I haven't coloured yet. I've got so many books and pages. The next one is Ennea Scholar. I don't know if... no, it's a bit dark. Sorry, it's a bit overcast here today. There's Ennea Scholar Patreon pages. And also there's a few that were like freebies in her group that I'm in on Facebook. So this was one of the Patreon pages. There's her sort of female Pennywise. It was really fun to colour. There's polychromos as well, and I think I used the Albrecht Dürer pencil just for the grey background. I really tried to do the bright colours like of Pennywise, and I really like her hair and the balloons. Yeah, that was a fun page to do. And then I did this one. I can't remember the name of it, but that was also a Patreon one. I'm going to use watercolour pencils for a little bit, and then I went over the skin and I think the snake as well with polychromos, and the like cuts and the blood bits. But yeah, I tried to use a different kind of undertone for the skin just as an experiment. Sort of like a light aqua colour. I really like how that came out. And then there was this one, I think this was the Patreon one as well. And it was just watercolour pencils and the Faber-Castell polychromos as well, and a little bit of gel pen. I think there's silver gel pen on the necklace bit there, but I can't really see it through the plastic bullet. This one was also Patreon, I believe. again, polychromos and Richter pencils. Yeah, that was fun. Really like her hair. Let me see if I can. This one was also Patreon, I believe, and I used, I think it was polychromos for the background, possibly. Actually, no, I think I used the Black Widow pencils for the whole thing. I think it was one of the first times I used the Black Widow pencils. So yeah, I really like how that came out. These are some earlier ones I did. These were both, this was a Patreon page, and I used polychromos as well. It was for a challenge in the Ennea Scholar group. They had to do like grayscale and then one colour, so I chose sort of aqua green. I really like how she came out. And then this one was a freebie page in her group for a challenge. We had to use, I think it was like a limited colour palette challenge, and I used polychromos and artisas, I think, and a little bit of white gel pen for the stars. Sorry, it's a bit shabby there. Yeah, there's that one, and there's the ones I haven't done, or H1. And then this one was is work in progress. This was a Patreon page as well. It was polychromos, but I haven't come back to it. It is printed on quite thin paper, like normal printer paper. It's before I got the cardstock I use now, so I might come back to that. But I have it in the Dark Fantasy Colouring Heaven issue, so I might, I don't know, at least I can colour it again in that. This one was by Genovia Art. This was a freebie she gave away via Facebook, and for a competition she was doing. We had to just colour this picture. I can't remember what the prize was exactly, but it was fun to do. I used Prismacolor pencils, because I'd recently gotten the 48 set when I got this, so I wanted to try them out. I really like her hair, and I think I used, there's some gold gel pen. I don't know if you can see, it's on the ball there. And there's a little bit of white gel pen as well. Yeah. This was a work in progress from February, however many years ago. I think it was at least 2019, possibly. It was by Colour and Chicks. I was trying to see if I could see what I could do now with W.H. Smith pencils. That were one of the first pencils I used. I haven't come back to that. This one was a freebie from Denise Siddick in her Facebook group. I think it was a tribute page, but I can't remember. I think for an artist that passed away, but I can't remember who it was. But I used marker pens, alcohol markers even. There's watercolour pencils for background, and then polychromos. Yeah, I really like her hair. And this was a freebie in her group as well. I used Faber-Castell polychromos as well, and the Albrecht Dürer pencils. Because it was grayscale, it kind of smudged slightly when I added water, but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't that dark a grayscale. This was for Mermaid 2019, I think. It's by Jennifer Zimmerman on her Etsy page. I really like how this came out. It was my first time colouring her artwork as well. I do have this one to colour as well, but I used polychromos and a little bit of white gel pen. But yeah, it was a lot of fun doing that. This one was by Sarah Richter. This was from her Etsy. It was a black, I think it was a black Tombow marker for the background, and a lot of white gel pen to outline her hair. It was pastel, like sort of blue gel pen, and polychromos for the rest of it. And I was watching Disney Atlantis at the time, and I based her off of Kida from that film. So yeah, it's a little bit of silver gel pen on the sort of jewellery as well. But I really like how she came out. This is that one. This is another Sarah Richter page I got from her Etsy. Again, polychromos and our Richter pencils, and a little bit of silver gel pens, black gel pen, as well as a few little bits from the sort of head detail, head decorations and stuff. But yeah, her eyes are a bit scary, but I like that. What else is there? Yeah, I've got Sherry Boldy. This is polychromos, I think. Possibly, maybe even Prismacolor. I'm not sure, I can't remember. There's that one. And a little bit of gel pen. This was definitely Prismacolor. I think the other one was polychromos. But yeah, Prismacolors. I think a little bit of pen for the like flowers there. And then polychromos and some pens to add the music notes. And the thing is that, yeah, silver gel pen for the dots on her dress. And then this one was polychromos as well. Yeah. Sorry, there's a lot to go through. Keep an eye on the time. Next we've got Deborah Muller. This was for the Creepy Colouring Collaboration Facebook event on Facebook. I think it was 2019. I used alcohol marker for most of the background, and then I used I used Castle Art pencil. That's what I used. It was Castle Art pencils and some gel pen, I think, on the sort of little bits of like gold and stuff. Yeah, I really like how that one came out. I just realised it's quite dark. This one was for Mermaid as well. Again, polychromos and watercolour pencils for background. Yeah, that was that one. And this was a very early Deborah Muller page I did. It was a freebie in her colouring group on Facebook. It was just like cheap kind of Sharpie pens, really. It's a bit messy. But yeah, it's just various pens of certain, these were cheap pens. There's that one. Was there anything else at this one? I think that's it. It's for the... Oh no, there's this one. It is this Christine Karen page, who's a freebie in her colouring group. It was a page given to members after the group reached a certain amount of members. And this was polychromos as well, and a little bit of white gel pen. But yeah, I really like how the cupcake came out. But yeah, there's that one. And then I think that is the end of this. Yeah, so that's the end of this folder. Move to the next one. Just keep an eye on the time. This one's got quite a few in. So this is Cyanophonic Pages. These are quite early ones I did with W.H. Smith pencils and fine liners and little bits of gel pen. This was from, it was like a freebie set that she had in her, from her newsletter when you signed up. So I had these when I was waiting for the books I had ordered from her. There's that one. They're all W.H. Smith pencils and fine liners. This one's got some soft pastel in the background. I think there's a little bit of gel pen. I don't know if that will... No, it's not really showing. There's those two. I really like her. She's like a goth mermaid. For some reason, this one printed a bit... some of them printed a bit strangely. It was sort of like the outlines were outlined. But I don't quite know what happened there. But it's fine. There's these ones. I remember being really happy with this one. So it was the first time I tried the shading on the skin and stuff. Yeah, that's that one. Those two. There was this one, which was a freebie from her Goddess and Mythology book. This one, it was my first attempt at grayscale. So she had this mermaid page from her Mermaid's book. And this was... I think this was W.H. Smith pencils as well, but I had no idea what I was doing, so I was very new to grayscale. But then I printed it out again and I tried again, and this one came out a little bit better. I'm still very new to grayscale, so I'm still learning. But I like that one, and I use pastel on the background. And this one's from her Fadorables book. I like the rainbow tortoise. There's gel pen on her tail there. Yeah. And that was from her Goddess and Mythology book as well. That was with study style pencils. I'd just gotten them. It was my first sort of big set of pencils. It was a 120 set. And yeah, I was testing them out. I really like how she came out. This one was just, I printed it out small to just test some really cheap pencils, but I can't really remember what I was doing. But I never finished it. It was a freebie from her Christmas book. And then this is the pages I've not coloured. And then I got the Molly Harrison pages, like Cyanophonic. Molly Harrison was the first artist sorry, not the camera. First artist I kind of discovered when I started colouring. So she had lots of freebies on her Facebook. Her Facebook site, Facebook page, and her website. So I printed lots of them out whilst I was waiting for her books to arrive. So a lot of these are with really sort of rubbishy, cheap pencils, like the kind for kids that you like. They're so cheap that there's hardly any pigment in them, no matter how hard you press down. So like this was dark green, and it's really pale, but well. So there's those, and then flat, cheap fine liners as well. That was one of them as well. I had a thing about outlining things with fine liners, but you can see the difference of how my coloring's changed. This was really early, and this was one I did last year, possibly, with the Patreon page on Molly's website. This is polychromos and marker and watercolor pencils and some gel pen, and there's metallic pen on the fence and stuff. But yeah, your coloring definitely improves over time. These are some later ones, but still quite early. This was with, what one was this with? I don't think it's pastel for the background, but I'm not sure, I can't remember the pencils. It might have been, I don't know if it was W.H. Smith Study Style, maybe? Maybe even Marco Raffine. I'm not sure, I can't remember. This one was W.H. Smith pencils and soft pastel, and so there's black gel pen. I don't know if it'll pick it up, but I've coloured this one 3 times. There's my earlier ones in here somewhere. There's that one. That was the first time I coloured it. And now it's that one. That was the 3rd time. The 2nd time's in one of Molly's books that I have, so you'll see that. And these are still really early ones. I coloured lots of these in several days. I also did another version of this one, which I'll show you when I get to the books. I'll show you a comparison of that as well. I coloured it about 4 years after I'd done this. So last year it would have been. I decided to colour that. Yeah, these are all fine liners and the cheap pencils. It's very pale in comparison to now. Even though this is an early one, I still really like it. I really like her hair. It's colourful. Yeah, see, like her leggings it's a black pencil, but it came out grey. Yep. Is that one. Then this one was with the cheap like watercolor set, like the really kind of the like cheap kids one. I don't mind it. And they use some sort of metallic pen for embellishments on that. I think this was Marco Raffine pencils, possibly, or W.H. Smith. This was, I'm not sure. I think there's some pen on there. But that was a later one, but still kind of early. And then that was W.H. Smith pencils and pastel. So that one. And there's also Molly Pages in here. I then have a whole massive Jasmine Beckett Griffiths section but from her Patreon, but I haven't coloured in any of them, which is terrible. So yeah. Maybe, hopefully. I'm putting them in the folders now, so I've organised them. I can now see what I have, which is a lot better. Okay. This is a Edwina Backmoney page, although at the time she was known as Ebony Rain. And this was a freebie I got from her website. I think I used study style pencils, but I'm not 100% sure as it was quite a long time ago. All I remember is after I coloured the background, I went over it with a Derwent Blender pencil and it took me ages. But I still really like how it came out. It was really cute. So yeah. And lots of white gel pen. There's that one. Okay, to keep an eye on the time, my phone normally stops at 30 minutes. This one was the Shell Tracy page. I don't know if you can see that. There's a freebie page. No, it wasn't. It was a page on her Etsy. She was like when you bought it, it went to a charity. The proceeds went to a charity. So I bought, even though I had the book, I bought it to help with that. And it was W.H. Smith pencils, W.H. Smith watercolour pencils and pastels, and some white gel pen. And even though it was an earlier one, I really like how it came out. There's that one. And then these were ones I bought on her. I think this one was a freebie though, but this one I bought. It was from her animal totems book, or totem animals. I can't remember what pencils I used though. Pastels and possibly W.H. Smith pencils. But I think I used something different on her skin, but I can't remember. And there's some metallic gel pen on the crown. This one was W.H. Smith pencils as well, and pastels. Yeah. And this was the first time I coloured this one. And this one was for a tutorial, if I remember correctly, in her group. This one... Sorry. This one was one of an early attempt at grayscale as well. It was W.H. Smith pencils and pastel, but again I don't really know what I was doing. So yeah. That one was W.H. Smith pencils and pastel, I think. It was grayscale again, so. Should I just do that? No. Sorry, the surface of my desk is particularly big. It's a bit awkward. This one was W.H. Smith pencils, and then I used eyeshadow for the background. Yeah, that was from her grayscale version of her Spirit and Fantasy book. And then this was also from that as well. So again, W.H. Smith pencils and pastel. And then I hope this is the last one I turn around. This was polychromos and watercolour pencils and some gel pen. I bought this from her Etsy. It is from her Sienna book that she released all the pages on her Etsy as she drew them. So I bought quite a few of them. I think that might be it in here in terms of coloured pages. Oh no, I've still got the this ones as different artists. So this was by Sandra Jean Perez. She's known as We Colour. This is from her book Joy. It was just with marker pens, and it was a little bit of pencil on the star bit. Yeah, there's that one. This one was a freebie by Bloomsbury when they released a Cool Thorns and Roses colouring book. And this was just with W.H. Smith pencils, I think. Maybe the Study Style ones. I can't remember. There's some soft pastel in the background. This was for Joanna Basford's Magical Jungle competition. It was just W.H. Smith pencils. Her Lost Ocean competition for the artist edition. soft pastels and WH Smith pencils. I really like how that one came out. And there's some white gel pen as well. I really like the kind of rainbow colours I went for. This one was very early. She had a Christmas competition, I think. I think it might be WH Smith pencils, but I'm not sure. But it's all pens for the rainbow and pastels. And yeah, and I think there's possibly some gel pen. But yeah, it's very early on that. And this was for her World of Flowers competition. This is polychromos and gel pen. This was a Nikki Burnett page I bought off her Etsy. I now have it in one of her books, so it'll be interesting to do it again and see the difference. This was WH with pencils and soft pastel. I really like how it came out. Even though it's still kind of early days, I tried to do, you know, the light reflecting off of her and things, the sort of glow effect. I really like that one. This was a freebie from Facebook, I think, by Bennett Klein. I used Faber-Castell, the colour grip pens, and I think probably W.H. Smith pencils. I don't really remember doing that one, really. This was a freebie by Hannah Carlson on her Facebook. Just polychromos and white gel pen, and I did it for Claire, Colour with Claire's winter palette that she did, where she did the hashtags of sort of Claire's winter and things like that for the different seasons. This one was by Heather Valentine for her competition for a teacup bouquet book. I used Crayola Super Tips, this soft pastel, polychromos and pens of some kind as well, maybe just the Crayola Super Tips actually, and some fine liners. Yeah, that one, and then this one was also for the creepy colouring collaboration, sorry. This is by Sassy Colouring. I used polychromos as well, I think, and some a marker base on a lot of it. There's that one. This was also for that. It is by Charlie Trim. There's just a little Halloween mandala. They just use pens and some pencils and some gel pen, I think, on little bits. I really liked how he was doing that one. This one was by a lovely lady in the colouring groups in Facebook that I'm in called Morena. And she drew this and then shared it in the group for people to colour. So I coloured that. Yeah, it was really fun to do, and I used watercolour pencils, the Black Widow skin tone set, and some gel pen, I think, on little bits. And this, I don't know if it's going to catch the light or not through the thing. I used metallic watercolour paint for the moon. Yeah, I really like that one. And this one was a freebie by Anne Stokes. I used polychromos and a bit of white gel pen. I think that's it for this one. My pocket holders. This is the Sequums one. This is what the Dark Fantasy preview pack in that she released before the full book. Watercolour paper. This is pretty excellent watercolour paints and some Faber-Castell polychromos on the skin. I haven't quite finished it yet, obviously, but I'll come back to that. This one as well. This was a pretty excellent watercolour paints as well. This was my first sort of full watercolour picture. I'm really happy with how it came out, and I'm hoping it will catch the sparkly bits. There's a lot of metallic gel pen and metallic paints on there. I don't really want to take it out. So yeah, and some gel pen on the snake and things. But yeah, I really like how that came out. I just used a few little bits of polychromos on her face to sort of add details. There's that one. This one was with some watercolour brush markers. I sort of scribbled them on a palette and then put them down with the paintbrush. And there's a little bit of gel pen on the sort of tears. Yes, and then I used Faber-Castell Brick Drawers, the pencils, just to add some shading. These are her little chibi Like she's got like a Chibis set. Sorry, I can't get it out. Yeah, I started that one with marker and polychromos, but I haven't come back to it yet. Sorry, I then got her Dark Fantasy and Natural Enchantment as PDFs. Yeah, I think that's all that's in here. And then she's also got the sweet Kawaii preview pack as well. I haven't coloured anything yet. But yeah, no, there's that one. And the next one is sort of various ones. So this was the Yam Puff page that was released by Colouring Heaven Discovery Club. I showed this in my last finished pages video. There's brute Funa pencils and just various pens and things, so it was fun. This one was from Creative Happy Life by Kim White. She had like a club where she released an exclusive. This is one of the first ones. I used Arteza pencils for most of it, and then there's Stedler Echo-Sloth for the rabbit. And this is like a pearl effect sort of glitter glue thing. Stuff sort of like the glitter glues, but pearlescent kind of. It's sort of raised. And some white dropping. That's that one. And then this was polychromos and alcohol marker for a Rapunzel page. And then this one was a Snow White inspired one. This sort of Day of the Dead as well. It is in the group. Every so often Kim would collaborate with a member to create a page instead of just her coming up with it. So I got to collaborate with her on this one, which was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of fun colouring it as well. It was Faber-Castell polychromos, Albrecht Dürer pencils and gel pens. But yeah, I really like that one. This was a whip from her Creative Happy Life Club as well. She did a sort of advent calendar with like 3 different pages, and I didn't finish it yet, but hopefully maybe this Christmas I can. This is her Uni Dragon page. I started it with Arteza pencils and never came back to it. I'm very good at starting pages but not finishing them, as you can see. And this one was Albrecht Dürer pencils, and this was polychromos. I just really need to come back and finish them. This is very early whip from, well, 2016 probably. And it was Cyanophonic. It was a freebie from her Fadorables book with W.H. Smith pencils. And this was a Kelly O'Gorman freebie from her group. I went to do it for an event, and sorry, I knocked the camera again. Yeah, I did finish it. It was a lot of fun. I should really come back to this. It's polychromos so far. And this was Anne Stokes' page I scanned in from her book and coloured, or started colouring with polychromos. But I haven't come back to that one yet. And then this was a Dawn Mateague page. Because at the beginning of the first lockdown, she had a sort of set of freebie pages. That you could download. I think they might even still be available. They're on her website. I'm not sure. If you go through her Facebook page, you can probably find the link. But yeah, I really want to colour this one because I like Guardians of the Galaxy. So there's polychromos so far and some alcohol marker. I really need to come back to this. And the last one in this folder is this one by Samantha Jean. There's a her Spooktober page, the little witch. I haven't come back to it yet, but it's polychromos. I really want to come back and do this because it's a really sweet image. So that's that folder. Is my camera going to stay filming? There's not that many left. This one is mostly a book goes by Eva Yunen. It's her Enchanted Seasons book, but I've not coloured anything so far. I also got Flourish from Joanna Basford. Also not coloured anything. It's various pages. This was my own artwork. I drew this when I was bored once, and I decided to scan and like blow it up and start colouring it. But I haven't come back to that yet. But yeah, I don't draw very often, but when I do, and that's another one I drew as well. And then I've got the Dreamy Chibis book by Marlon Tunison, and I have done a couple. So there's this which I did for last October. It's alcohol marker for the background and brute Funa pencils. And yeah, that was a lot of fun to do. That was my first time using the brute Funa pencils as well. It was so fun to do. And then I did this mermaid one for Mermaid, I think. I'm not sure. And I used Arteza pencils, and there was Prismacolor for her skin, and white gel pen. Yeah, I really like that one. I think that might be it in this one. But yeah, I like my little mermaid in a bottle. And I've got one more folder, so let's see if I can before the so this is my Hannah Lynn folder, because I'm signed up to her Patreon, so I've got quite a few pages. So this one, they're not in order of when they were released or anything. I've lost track. But this one I used the Black Widow pencils and some white gel pen. And I think maybe a little bit of black pen for the, I think it was a Tombow marker for the sky. But I really like how this one came out. I really like her hair. It's one of my favourites. This one was all Prismacolor pencils and some white gel pen. She's very pretty. This was sort of one of my first pages with the Prismas when I got my little 48 set. This is Esmeralda. This is Polychromos. It was a whip for a little while, but I came back to it and I really wanted to finish it. I tried to make her dress the same colours as Esmeralda in the Disney film. Yeah, I really like that one. And these were just some freebies that she had. I think it was in her newsletter. Well, not newsletter, but it was sort of like a freebie sample pack. So this was just polychromos and pens, and gel pens and things. This was the first page I did with Prismas. And there's some metallic paint on the wings. I don't know if it will show through the thing. And then the background was watercolour brush pens again, sort of scribbled down and painted on, and some pink neon gel pen. And then this one was polychromos with Albrecht Dürer pencils. I don't know if it's going to show, but on here, on the ice and things, I don't know if that, I used the gel pen and then I got a paintbrush and kind of just, my brush, like water brush, and I kind of dragged it down so the glitter was down on the ice to make it glittery, but I don't think it really shows. But yeah, that was a lot of fun, that one. And this one was polychromos as well, little bits of white gel pen and some watercolour pencils. This was an early one, so it's on quite thin paper, but it was polychromos and watercolour pencils and lots of glitter. I used glitter glue all over the water and the moon, and yeah, I just had a lot of fun with that one. That one, this was quite one of the earlier ones. It was polychromos and pens, but I didn't really like it, but oh well. This was an early one. It was from her Etsy. So Digi-Stamp I did with Marco Raffine pencils. So yeah, you can see the difference in my colouring now. These were both Digi-Stamps as well I got from her website. Again, Marco Raffine, so I think this one was W.H. Smith pencils. And some soft pastel on the background. And this one was, I think this was Marco Raffine's as well, and some gel pen. There's a sample page from her Christmas book. And then these are all the pages I haven't done. I think that's it for this one. Yeah, that's it for the Hannah Lynn one. So thank you for watching. That's all my PDFs. So in the next video I will start on the books. Though it's going to be a very long series. There's like 5 years worth of colouring books to get through. but I will try not to make the videos too long if I can, but I'll try not to have too many parts either. But I know there's people that like watching long series like that. I mean, I do. So yeah. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.